Hey y'all, let's talk about why I passed on the Airbnb stock on Friday when it went public, and I had every intention of buying into it. I've been waiting for this IPO for a long time. I've had dreams about it. I've been ready to go. And I love Airbnb. I love the company. I love the business model. And I've personally thought about investing in rental properties as Airbnbs and things like that. And I always went back to I'm just going to hold off and wait for the public offering and just get in on that. And so when I heard it was going to happen in December at the end of the year, it was really going to happen. I was ready to go and move my money into my brokerage account. I was ready to pull the trigger on the deal. And when they priced it in the 40s, it said, hey, it's looking like somewhere in this $40 something range. I was ready to go. I was going to back the truck up, load up, and be happy as could be in the 40s, And then when it went up into the 60s, I said, look, it's going to, probably price somewhere in the 60s. I was unwavered. I was ready to go. Back the truck up again. Let's do this. And the night before, the day before, when they're talking about $68 a share, not a problem. Hey, sounds good to me. Let's do this. But the one thing that was shaking my foundation, my unwavering thought on I'm going to invest in this Airbnb stock offering was, the DoorDash before. I was watching that, and two great companies going public, a lot of people using those services right now, especially the DoorDash, and that when it went public, that stock chart looked like this and like this. It shot up way above where it was priced at originally, and people were just excited to get a hold of it, get a piece of it, and I started thinking that's the same thing that's going to happen with Airbnb, and at 68, hey, if it would have gone up, I'm okay paying a premium on it, but I didn't want to pay a double over what it was priced at. So I started thinking, I don't think you're going to get a piece of this one, Travis. So I watched the DoorDash play out and what it did, and so I said, well, I'll keep an eye on Airbnb, but my hopes were dimming, and so I was excited just like everybody else, but so when they priced it at 68, and I saw the implied openings on that Friday that were looking at 140 and 150, I was having a hard time wrapping my head around it, and so I said, I'm probably just going to have to sit this one out, because, and the way I looked at it was, the people that were selling these initial shares were, they got together with their investment bankers and everybody else and saying, look, I think $68 a share, that's where we ought to price it at, and that's what, we own these shares, we own this company that, and so we've got together and we think that $68 a share is a good price. So if you want to own a piece of this company, that's fine. We're going to sell it to you for $68 a share because that's what we think it's worth. And I, in my thinking, hey, you're right. I think it's worth $68 a share, no problem. And I would have paid a little bit of a premium too. If it would have priced probably anywhere below $100, I would have taken some sort of position in it. At $100, I probably wouldn't have, gone where I was going to go, but I would have got in on some of it. But, pricing at 68 and the implied openings around 100, I saw it 140, 150s, it's like, nah, it just doesn't make sense. If they're saying, hey, we'll sell our shares that we own for 68, I'm not going to go in and pay 150 or whatever for those shares, when the people selling them say, we think they're worth 68. And yeah, I get it. Everybody was excited about it, but I think the retail investors and that excitement level just drove the price so high, and I couldn't get my mind around it, so, and it doesn't have nothing to do with the company or anything like that. It's just that I couldn't personally, making a personal investment decision, get my head around it's worth that amount from, a couple days before, being the $60, $68. I just couldn't wrap my head around it, so I said, I'm going to take a pass on this one. And I watched it, and sure enough, it opened late in the afternoon, but when it went up, it was straight up. Then, that was the stock chart, and so, on that first day, if you bought it at 68, yeah, you did great, if you got a piece of that. But, buying it at the open at 140, 150, 160s, there's still a long time to go. I mean, those guys, I hope they do great on it, really. I'm going to be cheering them on from the sidelines. And I still like Airbnb. If it takes a dip, I'm not out of the game. I'm just on the sidelines. And while I'm on the sidelines, I'll be cheering all those folks on that bought it at 100, whatever they bought it at. I hope they make money on their investments or the trades or whatever they had going on. But for me personally, right now, I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. I was just trying to get my head around, the uncertainty of, because I'm looking to make money on it. Yeah, I do want to own Airbnb. I like it as a company. I'll use Airbnb, no problem, but I just can't wrap my head around it right now. So that's kind of why I passed on it. I said, well, I'm going to sit on the sidelines, and if it takes a dip, I'll be there to scoop up some, so that's what I think. I'm not out of the game. Like I said, I'm just going to sit over here on the sidelines and, and hope all those people made money. And if I don't buy any stock, and if I can wrap my head around 150, 160, who knows? I might end up buying it down the road. It's $200 a share, and I'll be like, I should have bought it at 150 or 160 or 140, And that's the way it goes. But if I can wrap my head around the value of those shares, hey, I'm not against, 140, 150, 160, $200, whatever it is, but I just, on that opening day, I couldn't wrap my head around it. And so I just said, I'm going to take a pass on this one and kind of go from there. And, I hope those companies keep going up. It's great. It's great for the overall market and everything. So I'm excited to see what it does. And I'll be on the sidelines, like I said. Let me know in the comments what you think. Subscribe, like, appreciate y'all. See you on the next one.